Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. This video has been submitted to me by one of these players. Let's see who you can work out who. And we are on the map Shallow Straits. Don't often see the map on the channel or in 1v1s, but is still a somewhat regular 1v1 map. You also see it in 2s and also sometimes played as a 3-player map with, say, for example, Flaka spawn and then these other 2 positions being the other spawns. As you can see, plenty of water on this map, only a couple of water mexes, and the path is pretty straightforward as it's mostly like that. This hill in the center causes a bit of problem when it comes to line of sight of radar, and also just pathing in general. Like, you send your forces down here, your opponent can just push down here instead, and it causes you a bit of a problem with managing your forces. Now let's talk about the players we have. In red today we have Flaka playing Cortex. He is one of the developers of Bar and has been around for quite a while on 27 OS, and his opponent today is Mr. Heavywater, also Cortex, and going for a bot lab, which is a bit of a surprise here, and he has an OS of 31. So both players are a little bit lower than the OS we normally follow on the channel, but yeah, it was sent across to me, so how could I refuse? Now, Heavywater choosing to go bot here is going to have a little bit of an implication here. Not only has he have no option of any sort of underwater units, so for example the vehicle factory has the amphibious tank, and Flaka could use those quite effectively to just go around here and attack his opponent's back line without really running into anything unless either player builds boats. Heavywater is going to be stuck on land. Now, obviously as well, bots are technically weaker when it comes to, their health pool. What they get as a bonus is their transversability, like being able to move over terrain a lot easier. But on this map, that's not really going to come into play here. Now, another thing, that bonus that they do have is they are cheaper metal wise to build, but being a team map, really, metal shouldn't really be a problem. And not only does he have a triple mech there, he also has technically 4 here and an additional 2 at the back that are on technically his side of the map. And yeah, so I don't quite know why he's chosen to go that. It does seem like he has so far invested into only 2 solar, which his opponent Flaka has done as well. Wow, make that 3 solar actually. He's got... Seems Heavywater planning to go for a bit more of a strong push and taking as much of this territory as possible, forcing Flaka to build his front line up here where his mechs are, giving him a, hopefully, if he can keep this Heavywater, a stronger position. Now, if this front line does get set here, if Heavywater can build stuff up, that comm can just walk straight through the water here and degun that factory with very little problem, and that will set Flaka back massively. So there's no defenses in the base here to really stop that from happening. But an artillery is being built, and is that what Heavywater's planning on doing? Oh, that was a surprising call, but yes, that does seem to be the case. The Resbot, though, not Resbot, what I'm on about, radar did detect Heavywater making his way into the water, and knowing that he's bots, Flaka knows that Heavywater's coming. The rush to get a LLT up is pretty desperate here. I don't think they'll get 2 LLTs built though in time, and Heavywater's comm can tank a single LLT. That LLT doesn't even get a shot off. And Heavywater getting both the factory, and this is a huge hit for Flaka. Basically losing everything, and there is nothing to stop him losing all of this right now. And that's it. Heavywater now in a massive advantage. Flaka with nothing left at all. He has 2 artillery slowly pinging down the middle defenses, but with no factory at all. This force here, not quite enough to push down these LLTs just yet. But Flaka needs to put pedal to the metal here and get a factory up as quick as he can, so that he can stop what is going to be the push to finish him off. The problem here is obviously metal extractors use energy, and not a lot of energy, but he currently has 5 metal extractors. He's going to need, he probably didn't need quite so many wins. Probably could have done with maybe 2 less to be able to build that factory. Oh, he has also got 1 here. Yeah, so maybe 3 less in order to build that factory. Meanwhile, Heavywater now is building up eco. Kind of feel like this is maybe a bit of a mistake here. Heavywater has done a tremendous amount of damage to Flaka, completely taking his base out. All Flaka has is these 3 incisors and some LLTs. Kind of feel like this push here should have happened a lot sooner. Now, incisors do trade well into grunts, and that grunt actually has very, very little health left. The artillery does go down in the end, leaving only 1 left, but I kind of feel like he should have desperately prioritized getting some units out as quick as possible here and just finish off Flaka. Also, Heavywater here struggling with his metal, like not really using it quite effectively. You can see him queuing up even more energy production right now, and probably doesn't need that. Like, building solar is decent because he can reclaim it, but you can see how much wind he's got queued up. Kind of feel like he would have been better, build an energy storage to make the most of this extra energy that you've got for a little bit of a time, and then move over. Saying that though, this may have been his plan. The reason why he's building so much energy is because he is going air to assist. Shurikens being built here, they will be sent in first to stun these LLTs so that the grunts and thugs can make their move. But Flaka now already with a factory up, almost back to as he was, and pounders coming out. They will make very short work of those grunts. Not great control of these shurikens though. Using fight move, but the fight move is also not really doing the job here, as they're obviously targeting metal extractors and such. Does manage to get what he needed to do done though, and now Flaka pushed back massively hard. Missile trucks trying to save the day here. And Heavywater just securing this island here. Does Heavywater not have radar on that bottom bit? No, but he knows that metal extractor's there. So I don't quite get why he's not deciding to take that out. Right now, though, realistically, Heavywater has all the time in the world. He has in a very strong position. He has 3/4 of the map. And right now, he should be perfectly safe to eco up if he chooses. And just kind of sit back and enjoy the ride. And then stomp Flaka afterwards. But with Barb having an exponential economy as it does, if your opponent's really good at macro and you're not as good, you just leave him in the corner and don't really apply pressure, he's just going to build up and then outscale you. And although that's not happened yet, this construction bot is going to get killed. Personally, for me, I'd self-destruct this construction bot. He's got resbots there. You don't want to give him a construction bot right in your front line. And that is about what's going to happen here. And now that's a free construction vehicle right on the front line. Flaka already now into C as well. Heavywater has also built the C lab as well, pretty close to Flaka's base. So now Heavywater currently running 3 factories. Choice here of building just the destroyer and the herring here. Destroyer is a good choice. It's going to be able to deal with those subs or the commander if it was underwater. And this will be enough to keep this C lab from being able to accomplish too much here. And you can see that the build thing just gets destroyed as it gets reduced. And now retreating. He's going to have to build that C lab somewhere else. Flaka managing to at least contest something back. Although Flaka with no energy right now, this NLT Twin Guard not really able to do as much as it should be able to do. And a huge amount of metal just left on the porch of Flaka's base right now. Almost 1,000 metal, but when you look at the stats here, look at the difference. 46% behind Flaka is on metal produced. Build power is 94% behind, 79% behind on energy produced. But damage dealt. Tell you what, Flaka is getting some good value for his units. And I don't quite get what Heavywater's doing here. He keeps going in, coming out, going in, coming out. Like, commit or don't commit. And now in the sea, Flaka's actually gonna start causing Heavywater some problems. And now this force should be able to obliterate what Flaka has. Especially if they're all full health, but they're not. They've been going in and out, taking damage. And Flaka's just been doing a good job at keeping everything alive, mostly. But it's also who's getting the reclaim. It's up to 1.4k metal there. And the resbots now start to make their way over, but so far, Flaka getting more and more of this reclaim right now. Unfortunately, the construction truck does get killed. And Heavywater didn't actually resurrect that construction vehicle, which is a bit of a mistake on his part there. Now we see Bit of a fight back from Flaka here, from bringing his ships in. Heavywater finally gets some good micro on the anti-air ships there. It's not quite enough shurikens though to keep everything stunned. But the destroyers are close enough that they're getting hit by the thugs. There's still some base damage being dealt. You see Tech 2 being built up there as well. And although, what can they see? That's the question. Yeah, see, this is the problem. They don't know what's there, and therefore they can't make effective use of what they can actually shoot at. And now with Tech 2 almost finished here, this should be the nail in the coffin for Flaka. No reason why Flaka should be surviving this at this point. We can actually, surprisingly, see this metal difference is slowly but surely decreasing. Never mind, that's just gone massively up. It was decreasing. Oh, but at the same time as that naval attack, a good push in here from Flaka on the bottom, and now Flaka has managed to break free of containment. And with that, the pressure on Flaka has been released. Nowhere near enough shurikens to EMP what needs to be EMP'd. And now pressure being applied to Heavywater's base here. Heavywater was never really able to get into the sea effectively and took too long to start building up his own navy. And you can just see how quickly that destroyer is getting killed. And this is after all these units have taken damage for quite a while now. Now, economy-wise, Heavywater is still in the lead here. Has he got enough damage to out-heal? Out-damage to heal, yes. But these Sheldons are going to outrange any of the ships if used correctly. Right now, Flaka's just trying to get as much damage as possible. And although we are keeping an eye on this, there is a fight going, kind of a fight going on in the middle. Gonna keep an eye on what happens to the ships though for now, and we'll have a little second screen there showing you what's going on in the middle. And he manages to get the shipyard as well. Will he get the Tech 2 factory though? That's a big deal. If this small ship force manages to take out that Tech 2 factory, that's going to be a lot of wasted resources. And Heavywater, yes, indeed, giving a prime class of how to lose a one game. See the commander also fighting for his life. The Tech 2 lab does manage to get destroyed. No, not quite yet. Some great D-guns though from Heavywater's commander. And the small combat force that Flaka did have has been destroyed. And the Tech 2 factory unfortunately does not manage to get taken out. With the destroyer dead, there wasn't much actual damage left, and it was very close, but still. Meanwhile, with Heavywater's comm only 20%, you can see how much he is dip, duck, dive, and dodging. Trying to stay alive, down to 10% health. He does not have the energy to continuously move like that. And every time he moves, he uses 1,000 energy a second. And if he doesn't move, he's just going to get shot by the boats. The boat play by Flaka was a big risk. Because if he didn't hold the ground, like when I say the ground, I mean the ground way in, his opponent could have just massively pushed him and just won the game. But he was managed to apply enough pressure so far that Flaka has taken significant control of the map now. You can see that he's got control of the top side there with the amphibious construction vehicle that we were talking about from the Tech 1 lab. He hasn't got control of this bottom section yet, but that's a matter of time. And Heavywater, although Heavywater is on Tech 2 and is substantially ahead when it comes to economy, he is running into some problems now, and you can see the Metal Second is now actually in Flaka's favor. And Heavywater really needs to make the most of this Tech 2, because it's only a matter of time until Flaka gets his own Tech 2. And then Heavywater's going to be in a bit of a problem. Also, a bit of a problem is these forces do not have a radar bot with them. They only have a radar jammer, which means they don't really have much vision yet. Probably should have been more of a priority to get the radar bot with them than the radar jammer. Meanwhile, Heavy's comm is now up to 36%, getting what's left of Flaka's army in the middle that he managed to degun. Now, potentially risky the amount of metal that Flaka is investing here. He has a very large naval force, which he is now pulling back, and actually going to a seaplane lab. Don't often get to see seaplanes, so it'd be quite nice to see them for a change. Another Tech 1 air lab going up for Heavywater. Surprising though from Heavywater is he's not really built much in the way of his Tech 2 economy yet. Considering how long he's had it up for, he's only just got 3 Tech 2 metal extractors. And there's a metal extractor right next to the factory that's still not even built yet. So a little bit of a waste there. Don't quite know what's going on with him. Sheldon Ball slowly whittling away at this top corner. Man, I can't speak today. This one destroyer just EMP'd for all time. And with this now, we're just gonna speed the game up a little bit here until the players make a move. There's a bit of a scouting going on from Heavywater, and he's starting to amass a bit of a shuriken blob. Now, can these guys shoot across? They can't. Oh, they can if they move far enough forward. But with that explosion, you should have seen that there's mines. A little bit too late. But Flaka actually doing a pretty good job here. There's only a very small amount of places you can move. And down here and down here. And he has just put mines in all sorts of places. So now Heavywater is extremely scared about moving into that. And rightfully so. But this navy is kind of a bit redundant now, as it's getting massively outranged for those Sheldons and just getting picked off at long range. Also questionable whether it's worth rebuilding this metal extractor with a Tech 2 one, considering how long it's going to take. You do see Flaka building, or trying to build up a bit of a gunship army here. Going to take a little while though. Both players not doing great with their economy. Flaka extremely short on energy right now. He probably needs to work on more energy production. Does have an idle construction vehicle as well, which is not really great. Seaplanes obviously use quite a lot of energy. When we hover over them, you can see it's going to use 5,400 energy to build one of these gunships. And when we look at the difference here between a bomber is 4,000. So you know you're using an extra 1,000 energy when he's got no energy is a big deal. Not only on top of that, but he's trying to build, you know, Tech 2 vehicles, 10,000 for the anti-air there and 10,000 energy for the Tiger. On top of that, also building a Juno, the missiles in the Juno, which are using 160 and 2.7 metal, which, you know, that's a single one of these metal gone just from the Juno on its own. So we can see the Sheldon Ball has turned to a Sheldon with a few sumos, as well as this pop-up artillery turrets going up here on this northern side will do a very good job at defending from the sea. And this force is, like I said, a bit redundant at this point. It's got 5,900 metal in it. Part of me would debate that it would be worth sending this home and reclaiming it. Like, we don't really want to give away army value. Because, you know, the destroyers will be useful and so will these. But at the same time, leaving it in this corner to get killed is not going to really accomplish much. And he could do with the metal right now to build other things. And both players just massively energy stalling right now. Bit of a mistake from both players managing their economy. And I don't often see this either, but a tactical missile launcher being built by a Heavywater in the north central part here. This section doesn't really have any sort of defenses, and I'm pretty sure this covers, yeah, it doesn't cover the whole map, but it does cover the prime chunk of economy. Not only that, but there are a few bombers being built. Currently 7 are in production, as opposed to 10 of Flaka's gunships here. And finally, these shurikens are going to get a respite as a single construction aircraft comes over to slowly eat that destroyer that's been there for a very long time. Would have been nice to see Flaka take this water mechs down here, as well as these 2 island mechs, as they're still yet to get capped off. And Flaka does have idle construction units right now. Both players actually built mines in the middle as well. All of these units are so low in health here that these destroyers are, you know, a tickle away from being killed. That's 500,000 metal just sat in the water now. And as we just zoom out a little bit and speed up again, we'll just keep an eye and see what goes on here. All the minefield finally destroyed by a Juno there, and it does seem that Heavywater may be about to make his move. Not only that, but Arbiters being built here. With their extreme range, they're going to be able to outrange all of this water bit and just be able to get real up in there. See, the issue with the Sheldon here is that technically Flaka can just hide his units here not get shot at all by the Sheldons until they push through. Now this is why there's the Sumos. But the Sumos didn't go in front of the Sheldons and instead went the other side. But here goes the tactical missile. What's it aiming to hit? It hits the Tech 2 factory, but not enough to kill it. It does manage to take out most of the build power, though. And that will be the Tech 2 lab destroyed with the Arbiter's missiles. But is that really going to make a difference? Realistically, Heavywater should be able to push in here, and yet he's still not able to make a difference. Flaka just holding on for dear life, but Flaka now also building artillery in range of Heavywater's base. How Flaka's managed to hold on this long, I do not know. Fiends unable to really connect with their targets. The self-destruct taking out a pop-up flame turret, but with all of the front fielding units gone, the Sheldon Ball is now just taking the might of the Tigers right in their face. And the entire Sheldon Ball that he spent so long building up gets completely annihilated. And please don't walk these in there, Flaka. No. And due to a miscontrol, Flaka also losing his entire army as well. And that's just both players basically wiping their armies. Now we do see the bombers are still ready from Heavywater, and here come the gunships. Problem is, neither player is actually scouted, so they don't actually know where each other's commanders are. But now the damage is going out. The question is he able to get enough damage? Should focus the build power. Try to stop your opponent building anti-air. He does do the right thing. He's trying to go for the Juno though for some reason. Needs to focus the Tech 2 lab down. Idle construction bot here that could be building anti-air, but not. Attack missile does go off as well. A split on damage though from these gunships. Now just kind of hitting anything and everything. And Heavywater now in problems himself. Most of his, well, his entire main part of his base completely destroyed. But Flaka not able to take out all the construction vehicles and letting them build air defenses has stopped him being able to actually put a complete end to it. Not only that, but Flak getting built on this high ground is going to stop too much more damage being built. He is going to be able to destroy a bunch of these windmills as well as some of this Tech 2 metal extractors, but other than that, not really too big a deal. Meanwhile, in the middle, he has these EMPs. I don't know why he's just not using them. There we go. Build power destroyed. And mistakes with the micro there of Heavywater, meaning that the self-destruct didn't really accomplish anything of that. And instead, Heavywater here going straight into Tech 3. He's not even bothering to rebuild. Again, though, doesn't really have the energy to power this. He is trying to build a fusion up on this hill, but building that at the same time as building this Tech 3 factory, maybe a bit of a mistake. Meanwhile, Flaka has been pushed right into the back. The difference is here, Flaka already has a fusion. And although he still technically doesn't have anywhere near as good Tech 2 economy, he still doesn't have this one on the hill. He's still doing pretty well. Metal produced and energy produced Flaka is still massively behind, but when it comes to per second economy, Flaka is now in the lead. Bit of a mistake here from Heavywater though. He built all those bombers. He's got 10 bombers just sat there doing nothing. He could totally be accomplishing something right now, but instead nothing. And Flaka now just churning out Shivas. Finally the bombers attempt to make their move here. But again, with no scouting done beforehand, he has no idea where anything is, so he can't really accomplish a follow-up. He could have hit the fusion, he could have hit the build power, but with no scouting done, these bombers aren't really going to be able to accomplish too much. They do get the build power, but it could have been a lot worse. Meanwhile, Heavywater currently has 2 Shivas out, and Flaka has 5. And these will just come up behind the base and do a pretty decent job at destroying what's left of Heavywater's main island. How much is actually left up here? There was a wreckage that been eaten up. But both players just, again, taking their time. Using this tactic again. Surely there's not that much left to shoot at. Was that worth it? Probably not. I would argue that this TAC missile's done its job and would probably reclaim it at this point. You want the metal for the tech frame. Same with some of this other stuff, like this this back pop-up artillery or even the middle one. Yeah, you got one here and one here. Do you need the middle one? I reclaim it. Get the metal into your tech 3. Meanwhile, Flaka now making landfall with his own tech 3. Now, this might actually hurt Heavywater more. There are several Shivas making their way over to Flaka's base, and Flaka again doesn't have anything to stop that. It seems like a pretty constant base trade here. These Shivas will definitely be able to take out all that remains of Heavywater's base. Question is now, is Flaka going to die before Heavywater does? Because those Shivas are getting mighty close to Flaka. And a lot of energy production being killed of Heavywater's here. Not only that, but all of the Tech 3 metal extractors, this entire section being destroyed. No defense up on this cliffside either. So this is the problem here. What is Flaka gonna do? And one Shiva actually getting EMP'd. Flaka are only 15% health though. But he makes it into the water to safety. And these 2 shurikens able to completely shut down a single one of these Shivas. And rather than push the attack, Heavywater falling back again. Meanwhile, losing all of his actual energy production on top of the hill there. And Flaka applying more pressure to the central island. Flaka may be coming up for a D-gun here. No, choosing not to. I don't think he really needs to worry about nuke, considering he just took out his opponent's entire base. This may end up being both players use what units they have on the field, and that's it. Flaka left with only a few metal extractors, but he does have these 2 Shivas versus the 1, and this should be enough. The question is, how much damage is this Shiva going to do before then? Really focusing the wrong thing here, focusing a Juno, when he should probably have been focusing this. And now Flaka makes landfall. Heavywater with no energy here. He's not going to be able to D-gun. Building way too many things at the same time to be able to have the energy to do this. And Heavywater's comm managed to get destroyed. Flaka not giving up and just managing to just outscale his opponent. And Heavywater definitely needed to be a lot more aggressive there. He would have that in the bag. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys next time.